tertiary education subsidy and the tulong-dunong program amounting to around 5 billion pesos. And with that, Madam Speaker, the committee reiterates our very strong support for higher education in the state universities and colleges. And as much as we would like to accommodate the proposed amendment, the committee respectfully rejects the proposed amendment of the Honorable Co.
What does the House say?
Madam Speaker, we join the sponsor in rejecting the said amendment.
There's a motion to reject the proposed amendment. Is there any objection?
I object, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader?
Madam Speaker, there is a motion to reject the proposed amendment which was objected to by the Honorable Co. I now move to divide the House. An aye vote sustains the motion to reject the amendment and the nay vote defeats it. The majority solicits an aye vote.
There's a motion to reject the proposed amendment which was objected to by the Honorable Co. All those in favor to reject the proposed amendment say aye.
Aye!
All those against the motion say nay.
Nay!
The ayes have it. The amendment is lost. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, finally, I move to recognize the Honorable Sara Elago of Gabriela Party List for her individual amendments.
The Honorable Sara Lago is recognized for her individual amendment.
Maraming salamat, Madam Speaker. In Volume 1A, page 138, line 27, this representation respectfully proposes to add a budgetary allocation of 5 billion pesos to the Presidential Assistance to Farmers and Fisherfolk. This amendment seeks to raise the amount of direct assistance from 7,000 to 10,000 per beneficiary, covering 1.5 million farmers and fisherfolk nationwide. With this increase, the total allocation for the PAFF will amount to 15 billion pesos. Madam Speaker, our farmers and fisherfolk remain among the poorest of the poor. Many continue to bear the brunt of high rice imports, rising production costs, extreme weather events, and inadequate post-harvest support. Rice farmers from Central Luzon and Cagayan Valley are struggling to recover from repeated floods that have destroyed hectares of palay. Vegetable growers in Benguet face plummeting farm gate prices while their transport costs continue to rise. In coastal communities, fisherfolk report dwindling catch due to destructive reclamation projects and fuel prices that eat up most of their daily income. For too long, Madam Speaker, these sectors have endured mounting debt and the constant threat of climate disasters. We must recognize the indispensable role of our food producers and a necessary step toward ensuring their survival. This representation therefore urges this chamber to approve this amendment as a concrete show of support and solidarity for our farmers and fisherfolk who continue to till our land and sail our seas despite hardship and neglect. Does the sponsor accept this urgent and necessary amendment?
What does the sponsor say?
Madam Speaker, tutugon po ako sa panukala ng ating distinguished colleague bilang representante ng unang distrito ng Nueva Ecija. I would be the first person to advocate for additional support and subsidies to our beloved farmers. And yun po yung ginawa natin dito po sa kasalukuyang version ng General Appropriations Bill. From zero, we have increased the funding for the presidential assistance to farmers and fisherfolk to 10 billion pesos. So itinaas po natin ng 10 billion yung maibibigay po natin na tulong sa ating mga pinakamamahal na mga magsasaka. And currently, as per the current guidelines of the PAF, the current guidelines that would be valid until the end of the year that was created by the executive only provides for 7,000 pesos per beneficiary. So we are tied to that as of now, as that is a guideline that was provided for by the executive. But in terms of the current allocation po, the 10 billion pesos that we provided in the current version of the GAB at 7,000 pesos per beneficiary would benefit 1.43 million farmers. And siguro po, I would also like to discuss this further with our distinguished colleague that perhaps what we would want to do is to provide more, more assistance to more farmers. So perhaps we can discuss whether we should increase it to 7,000 to 10,000 because that would lower the number of beneficiaries that we could cater. Pero, Madam Speaker, as much as I would like to increase it further by another 5 billion on top of the already 10 billion pesos that we've already provided for, hindi na po kaya ng fiscal space natin. But, rest assured po that under the current General Appropriations Bill, meron pong 30 billion pesos sa loob ng Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, and all of those would provide additional mechanization, subsidies for seeds, training, crop insurance to our farmers. Nagdagdag din po tayo ng additional funds sa NFA amounting to 4.3 billion pesos to help the NFA procure more from farmers sa mas mataas na presyo. Kaya ang dami po nating suporta under our current version. If I'm not mistaken, we have increased the budget for agriculture, the agricultural sector as a whole, by 55 billion pesos on top of the original NEP. So, kasama niyo po ako, of course po, bilang representante ng unang distrito ng Nueva Ecija, ang rice granary po ng ating bansa. Gusto ko pong siguraduhin na talagang ibibigay po natin lahat na pwede nating maibigay sa ating mga magsasaka. And we've already added to the PAF by 10 billion pesos on top po of the, and that is included in the total of 55 billion pesos that we have added for agriculture in the current version of the General Appropriations Bill. And with that, Madam Speaker, as much as it pains me to reject the proposed amendment of our distinguished colleague, given the limited fiscal space, the committee respectfully rejects the proposal from our distinguished colleague.
What does the House say?
Madam Speaker, I echo the statements, the majority and the House echoes the statements of our chairwoman in prioritizing our farmers and those who are in dire need within the agricultural sector. However, as previously mentioned, given the limited fiscal space that we are working with, the House is one with the sponsor in rejecting the said amendment.
There's a motion to reject the
object,
proposal,
Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, there is a motion to reject the proposed amendment which is objected to by the Honorable Elago. I now move to divide the House. An aye vote sustains the motion to reject the amendment and a nay vote defeats it. The majority solicits an aye vote.
There's a motion to reject the proposed amendment which was objected to by the Honorable Elago. All those in favor to reject the proposed amendment say aye.
Aye.
All those against the motion say nay. The ayes have it. The amendment is lost. Majority Leader. Honorable Elago, please proceed.
To another amendment, Madam Speaker, Volume 1B, page 227, under Special Provisions of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, Office of the Secretary, in order to ensure the funding of monthly cash subsidies for solo parents earning minimum wage and below under Section 15 of Republic Act Number 11861 or the Expanded Solo Parents Welfare Act, we propose the following amendment. Monthly cash subsidy for solo parents, the amount of 2.9 billion pesos shall be used for the implementation of the monthly cash subsidy of 1,000 pesos of solo parents earning minimum wage and below under Section 15 of RA 11861 or the Expanded Solo Parents Welfare Act.
What does the
This is
sponsor
sponsor.
say?
Madam Speaker, my sincerest apologies. May I request our distinguished colleague to please reiterate the proposed amendment? The particular amendment that is being
Please
proposed. Madam
proceed,
Speaker.
Honorable Elago.
Madam Speaker, that is the additional special provision under the DSWD, Office of the Secretary. Monthly cash subsidy for solo parents, the amount of 2.9 billion pesos shall be used for the implementation of the monthly cash subsidy of 1,000 pesos for solo parents earning minimum wage and below, provided under Section 15 of RA number 11861 or the Expanded Solo Parents Welfare Act. Does the sponsor accept this amendment?
What does the sponsor say?
General Appropriations Bill, we have provided a lot to DSWD towards social amelioration programs. We have an addition, we increased AX, we increased the other support for other programs, including adolescent parenthood, psychological services, and etc. And as much as we would like to find the additional fiscal space to respond to the particular provision raised by our distinguished colleague, the committee respectfully rejects the proposed amendment by the Honorable Ilago.
What does the House say?
The House is one with the comments of our chairwoman, and therefore we join the sponsor in rejecting the said amendment.
There's a motion to
Madam
reject.
Speaker.
Majority Leader.
There is a motion to reject the proposed amendment which is objected to by the Honorable Ilago. I now move to divide the House. An aye vote sustains the motion to reject the amendment and a nay vote defeats it. The majority once again solicits an aye vote.
There's a motion to reject the proposed amendment, which was objected to by the Honorable Ilago. All those in favor to reject the proposed amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All those against the motion, say nay. The ayes have it, the amendment is lost. Majority Leader. The Honorable Ilago,
Yes.
for your next amendment, please.
And lastly, Madam Speaker, on the budget for Haven and Shelter Program for Women and Children in Distress. Under the 2026 General Appropriations Bill, only 3 billion pesos has been allocated for this critical service. We propose to increase it to 7.5 billion pesos, an additional 4.5 billion to ensure that every woman and child seeking refuge from violence, abuse, or exploitation can access safe shelter, psychosocial support, and reintegration assistance. Does the sponsor accept this amendment?
What does
Madam
the sponsor say?
Madam Speaker, may I ask what particular line item the Honorable Ilago would like to amend?
This is for the Haven and Shelter Program for Women and Children in Distress.
But, Madam Sponsor, please.
And the
proceed.
proposal, Madam Speaker, would be an increase of 4.5
billion pesos
million.
additional funding to respond to the need of the DSWD to cover for the building of havens and shelters for women and children nationwide.
Madam Sponsor?
Madam Speaker, we have provided for a lot of programs under the DSWD. Halimbawa po, we've added around 120 million, if I'm not mistaken, towards the build-out of regional Bahay Pag-asas. We put in 500 million towards the establishment of the Mindanao Disaster Response Center. So if the Honorable Ilago would like to push for the 4.5 million funding, that is something that we can consider moving forward, because we would have to carve out from elsewhere. But as of now po, given the current version of the General Appropriations Bill, the committee would have to respectfully reject the request of the Honorable Ilago.
What does the House say?
Madam Speaker, once again, we echo the sentiments of the Chairwoman of Appropriations, and as a result, join the sponsor in rejecting the said amendment.
There's a motion to
Madam
reject.
Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, there is a motion to reject the proposed amendment, which was objected to by the Honorable Ilago. I now move to divide the House. Once again, an aye vote sustains the motion to reject the amendment, and the nay vote defeats it. The majority solicits an aye vote. The Honorable Serge Dagook from APEC Party List for his individual amendments.
The Honorable Sergio Dagook from APEC Party List is recognized for his individual amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader. Good afternoon, everyone. This proposed special provisions, it does not consider any increase in amount of the budget, but this will only enhance the payment of all relocation from the DPWH to the electric cooperatives. By authorizing the DPWH to transfer all relocation funds to NIA, the provision institutionalize a more efficient and transparent process. Distinguished sponsor, Furthermore, the joint formulation of implementing guidelines by the Department of Public Works and Highways and the National Electrification Administration guarantees consistency with existing laws, rules, and regulations such as the Government Auditing Code and pertinent circulars of the Department of Budget and Management and the Commission on Audit. This shall hasten project implementation as well as project the financial viability of affected electric distribution utility while ensuring accountability in the use of the subsidy for the pole relocation. With that, this representation would like to propose the following special provision in the budget of the Department of Public Works and Highways. In the implementation of the foregoing, the Department of Public Works and Highways may enter to a memorandum of agreement with the National Electrification Administration for the relocation of electric distribution and transmission lines affected by the DPWH projects. With that, we delete the phrase exclusively under special provision number 15, right of way acquisition and payment of the substantial obligations. That would be my proposed special provision, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor.
What's the pleasure for our sponsoring chair?
Madam Speaker, with regard to the proposed amendment of the Honorable Dagohoc, currently there is a line item within the budget of the DPWH under right-of-way, which provides for payment of utility relocation, including electric cooperatives. We recognize the concern of the Honorable Dagohoc that we would like to ensure that the electric cooperatives are paid. And given that it's already there in the budget of the DPWH, and it's already provided for as a separate line item in the General Appropriations Bill, the committee accepts the proposed amendment of the Honorable Dagohoc.
What does the House say?
Madam Speaker, we join the sponsor in accepting the said amendment.
There's a motion to approve the proposed amendment. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Thank you, distinguished sponsor. Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, there being no other member who wishes to propose individual amendments, I move to close the period of amendments.
Is there any